Welcome to Deucecast Extra, live on a Tuesday night per usual. Luckily, we actually have something to talk about this evening. I wasn't sure we were going to, but I had remembered that D23 was this past weekend, and there was, there was some news that came out of there. Not like a huge amount, but there was some stuff that we can definitely talk about. As you can see, we've got a small crew this evening with Garrison and Roth from Wyoming. Dave may be joining us later because, of course, D23 is his wheelhouse, he being of the Main Street Electrical podcast, and he's a Disney travel planner, and so he has to keep up with all the Disney news that is always happening. So I sent him the link. Hopefully he'll be able to join later on. Dr. Earl is still in Roth's neck of the woods, really.
Like
Dr. Earl's, yeah, he's still out in the West. And then Brian, I don't know where Brian is. I sent him the link, but I forgot to ask him if he was coming or not, because I'm sure he would have liked to speak about Star Wars and Marvel and stuff like that. But first, I mean, we are going to do a very quick How Did You Extra? So Garrison, go for it.
This is tough. I actually didn't pick this out. I started.
I don't have much either.
I started the second book of the Stormlight Archive of Brandon said, the gigantic books.
Oh, the 700-page extravaganza.
No, 1100 to 1200. You know, yeah.
Oh my
They're great.
gosh.
They're great. They're actually really good.
Yeah,
and really better pace than you'd think for that page length.
yeah,
kind of ridiculous, but that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to do something movie related.
Okay.
I watched a movie on the Criterion Channel this past weekend.
Oh.
I did also see Cuckoo in theaters. It was interesting. It wasn't bad.
Fair.
But it's very convoluted, and it doesn't really explain that much other than the weird aspect of those specific things that it shows you.
Yes.
I kind of want to know more, but anyway, I watched a movie called The Last of Sheila, which was one of the inspirations that Rian Johnson had talked about, I think, for Glass Onion, if not Knives Out, one of the two of those.
Oh.
But it's a really, really good kind of murder mystery type film.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that genre. And anytime I watch a really good film in that genre, it just makes me want to go, okay, I want to find more great films in the genre. This is another one of those films where I'm like, I really love the twist that this has. I just love everything about this film. It takes place on a yacht almost primarily. There's a little bit of city scenes here or there, but it's really these rich people on a yacht. One of their friends was killed about a year prior to this event. And there's a game. There's a producer who's invited them all out, and he is playing a game with them. But really, there is kind of this overhanging shadow of this person that was killed by potentially one of them. And so things start to devolve, and you're trying to figure out, who was that killer? Was there a purposeful killer? that kind of thing. Was it just a mistaken? Was it a hit and run?
Yeah.
So, I really, really love this film. Here's where why I think it's Glass Onion inspired, because it does the thing that Glass Onion does, where it shows you things you didn't see before. But the difference is Glass Onion cuts off a bunch of stuff that's like in the middle of some of the scenes we see, which really frustrated me. That really frustrated me, because I was like, okay, we're not really seeing, we're not really seeing the movie. I mean, it's just frustrating to me. With this, there are scenes that cut off, and then more happens afterwards that we didn't see. Yeah. That I don't mind as much. That's perfectly fine, and it's really, really well done. So you think that a lot of interactions, are finalized, that maybe later on you find out, oh wow, there's more that happened here in this scene, and we didn't see that, and that adds more context to the situation. The Last of Sheila, it's streaming. Oh, hey, Brian.
Brian is around, apparently. Just didn't want to join us this evening.
The Last of Sheila, it's streaming on Criterion, at least. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere else. It's also on Blu-ray from Warner Archive, which are, those are a little pricey, but
Yeah, they can
the
be.
transfer looks really great. It's got some great actors in it. In fact, Ian McShane is in the film.
Oh, a young Ian McShane
Yeah,
then.
a
Okay.
very young Ian McShane. I'm probably around my age, if not just slightly older.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's always been old to me. Ever since I saw him in Deadwood, he's always been old.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. And there's some big actors in there too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Diane Cannon's in it, and Raquel Welch is in it. In terms of just women actors that a lot of people know, but
yeah.
Cool. It's a fantastic little murder mystery.
Awesome. I will look that up one for sure. Roth, how did you extra, my friend?
Yeah, well, I extraed by driving 1,328.4 miles from Thursday through Sunday.
Yes.
Thursday afternoon, after we kind of finished up work and our meeting with our priest to get our wedding all set up and whatnot.
Nice. Yeah.
We headed to the northwest corner of Wyoming, and we actually stopped in Riverton for dinner with some friends that moved there from Cheyenne. That is on the Wind River Reservation, which is where the movie Wind River takes place.
Oh, okay.
And then we stayed in Thermopolis that night, and we camped. Well, we ended up not camping Thursday night in Thermopolis because it was like 10 o'clock and pitch black, and we didn't know where to go, and nobody was at the office.
Right.
Because we're like doing a campground and not just like in the woods.
Yeah.
And so we're like, let's go stay at the Quality Inn.
Which sometimes can be scarier.
Yes, which was not clean. It
not
was
very quality.
I was going to say
that for walking in the hotel without my socks on. I did not know that's the thing that you're not supposed to do. I barefoot in hotels all the time.
Yeah. Well, you probably have a nice patina on your feet then. You can just rock whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So then Friday we headed up to Cody, Wyoming. Our plan was to go to the rodeo. Turns out the rodeo doesn't start till 8 p.m. and we were getting up at 5 a.m. on Saturday to head into Yellowstone National Park, which we did end up. We did not go to the rodeo, but we got up at just about 5:30 and packed everything up and took the Chief Joseph Scenic Highway into the northeast corner of the park. We were about 5 minutes shy of seeing a bear a mile into our Yellowstone trip. We did.
So what type of bear are we having up there?
There's both black and grizzly.
Oh, there's grizzly.
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
Scary.
Yep. So we kind of continued on, saw a whole lot of bison, or as one nice Asian gentleman rolled down his window and asked me, "What's the difference between a buffalo and a bison?" I said, "Nothing. People just are stupid and call them buffalo, even though they're bison." But I really liked his pronunciation of bison.
Bison.
He also asked if there was a muskrat on a rock that we were kind of like stopped at and took a picture of, and he rolled up and he's like, "Is that a bison?" I'm like, "No, it's not. That's a muskrat."
That's awesome.
that actually makes total sense. If you look at Chinese names, bi will be pronounced with like a b over there.
Oh, okay.
Then we saw some wolves, which was really cool. We kind of rolled by, and there were a bunch of people stopped, and I asked a guy walking to his car, I said, "What's over there?" I said, "Is it just bison?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's it. That's just a bunch of bison." I was like, "Okay, I don't believe you." So we kind of turned up the road and saw a bunch of like professional old people, not actual professionals, but like they're retired and like they do this as their hobby, is watch wolves. Their scopes out, and there was this older lady from New Jersey that was narrating everything the wolves were doing.
What in the world?
And was like, "Oh, that's Wolf 509. We haven't seen her in 17 hours." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh, so these wolves are tagged probably then?
Yes, somehow, but I don't think, like, not a visible tag. Like, they're just named type of deal. And she just recognizes the wolf in her scope and had a bunch of puppies that had just killed a bison and brought it up for the puppies to eat.
My gosh.
And she was like narrating it. And at one point, all the other wolves, except for one baby, like left. And she was like yelling at the baby, like, "Go up the hill and to your right, up the hill and to your right. Come on, you got this, up the hill and to your right." I'm like, "We got to go."
Wow.
This lady any longer. But eventually we made our way down to the Old Faithful Lodge, and we had dinner with one Dr. Earl. I don't know if you can share that, Michael.
Oh yeah, let me see if I can add to the stage. Look at that. Look at Dr. Earl in his glory. Yeah. That's
So that
awesome.
was very awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. But
Yeah, it was an awesome trip. We kind of did another loop around, or finished our loop around Yellowstone, stayed in West Yellowstone that night, and then we actually saw a priest when we were kind of driving around, and Taylor was like, "Priest." I was like, "What?" And so we like parked quickly and like ran over, and we're like, are you like doing mass? What's happening?" He's like, "Oh, I just did mass, but do you want communion?" So that was pretty cool.
oh,
And
that's
then he's like, "But we're doing mass in the park tomorrow at the Old Faithful Inn at
oh,
9 a.m." So we did that, which was really cool.
oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
cool. I
So
guess
then
you
we
can do mass wherever there's a priest, then, right?
yes, you
Pretty
can.
much. Yeah.
Just all you need is a priest, some bread, and some wine, and you're good to go.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So that was
Very
really
cool.
cool. And then we saw the Tetons in Jackson and did the like 7-hour drive home.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it
Well,
was.
that sounds really good. That's way cooler than what my extra is going to be, which Garrison already mentioned it. I have not really had much time to watch any shows. In fact, I don't think I'm watching any shows right now. I'm waiting for a bunch to start, but there's nothing that I'm watching right now show-wise. So the only thing that I can say is my extra is Cuckoo. That's all I can say.
Trying to make my ear twitch for you, Michael. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, the weird look. There was so much weird stuff in that movie that it was really fun to me.
I like that they tried to work in time loops into the movie, and
Yeah,
I still don't understand how that worked.
I don't either. And there was like they were throwing everything and just doing it all. They were like, you know what? We've got this money. We're gonna just make this crazy movie.
because
I mean,
it's
it was
clear that if you cover your okay, I don't want to get too in the weeds.
yeah. We don't want to
But it's
spoil
clear
anything.
that the time loop didn't always happen when
Yeah,
something occurred.
there was so
and
much. Yeah, there was.
I have questions.
There was a lot of what I would call holes in this script, but it was still a lot of fun for me because Dan Stevens was just
Oh, he's
off the
great.
chain.
He's
He was
hamming it
just
up.
he was way into it. And Hunter Schafer was good. I liked what everything that she was doing was cool. I mean, and this was the first thing I had really seen her in outside of Euphoria. And well, I guess she was in that new Hunger Games movie, but I actually have not seen that.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I own it because my kids like that movie, but I have not had a chance to watch the thing yet.
As discussed last week, you also own Twilight, so
I do own Twilight, but I've seen those. I just haven't seen this new Hunger Games yet. But yeah, Cuckoo is not for everyone. It's
would you say it's a little cuckoo?
It is. I enjoyed it. It's not as good a film as Long Legs, and I'm just comparing the two because they're recent horror films.
And both distributed by Neon.
Both distributed by Neon. Long Legs is super dark. Silence of the Lambs dark.
It's
no happiness.
Slow burn mystery.
Yeah, very much slow burn. Whereas Cuckoo, there's a lot of unintentional humor in it, I think, but there is also
I think there's intentional humor too.
There's some intentional humor as well, but it's just such a wild movie that I think I enjoyed my experience in Cuckoo more than I did Long Legs, but also recognize that Long Legs is a little bit better, well-made film. I think the director has a vision that he got on the screen properly with a good script, whereas Cuckoo, Tillman Singer, maybe he's just a little nuts. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I think he's an up and coming director that is going to be doing some interesting things in the horror genre because that's kind of like his wheelhouse. But tighten that script up. Just tighten.
What was this? What was this? What is in their hand?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, you mean what was that was well, I'll tell you off the air what that is. It was grossness. It was a bodily fluid of some type.
Okay, I mean, like I could guess what you're talking about, but
yeah.
But what was the purpose of that? That's my point.
To have her essence in. Anyways,
Oh.
we'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that.
I don't like that.
Let's talk about happier things now.
That gave me the weirds.
It is a weird movie,
Very
man.
weird movie.
It's a weird
I feel
movie.
like I want to crawl out of my skin right now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird movie. It's more of like a bird thing.
Look,
like it's a thing that birds do. But
if you're into horror, I think it's worth a watch.
yeah, because it's wild. It's totally wild. It's not as needle drop wild. We were talking about before the show started. It's not as needle drop wild as Barbarian when Justin Long shows up. It's not like what just happened? We're in a different movie all of a sudden. It's not like that, but it's still got some wild stuff in it.
Yeah.
So let us talk about D23. This is rebranded as D23, the greatest Disney fan experience. It used to be called D23 Expo, and now they've rebranded it to the Disney Fan Experience or something like that. But it still is the same thing as D23 Expo. You've got all the different studios that are under the Walt Disney umbrella come in and do a big presentation. They have 3 nights of big presentations. The first night is the movie and television presentation. The second night is the parks presentation. And the third night is always like the Disney Legends ceremony. That's usually the 3 big nights on the this time they did it at the Honda Center, and you can fit like 20,000 people in the same place. So that was pretty cool. That was a first for D23. That facility apparently is about 4 to 5 miles away from the Anaheim Convention Center. And so they made all their guests drive down. But look, these Disney people, they'll do it, and they don't care. Like, the Disney fans don't care. And from what it looked like, the small amount that I got to see, it looked like it was well worth it. It looked like the presentations were at least very well done. So let's dive in to talk about Lucasfilm first. I think we'll just sort of like go in order from smallest to biggest as far as announcements are concerned. Lucasfilm was interesting to me. I don't quite understand, first and foremost, why Kathleen Kennedy wasn't there. Because she was there.
Yes.
Because she showed up at the Disney Legends ceremony to induct Williams as a Disney legend.
But
the head of the studio did not present anything for the Lucasfilm part of the presentation. I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but all kinds of speculation, of course, can.
I'm sure Doomcock's got the scoop. I mean, he's totally gonna be right this time.
Sure, this time I'm sure he's going to be right, but
maybe her voice hurt.
Maybe she does. She sounds like that. The older she gets, the more she sounds like not Audrey Hepburn, Katharine Hepburn. Yeah, where she's sort of like that Boston, anyways, or RFK. So really, I mean,
found this dead bear.
Did a worm eat her brain? Is that what we're saying?
What in the heck? And I had to put it in Central Park.
Peter Luger's I wasn't drinking, of course.
Oh man.
So Garrison, like, nothing new, right? I mean, it's just a couple of things, really. There wasn't anything that they mentioned.
So, and as we'll talk going forward, kind of the directive from Disney right now is to pump the brakes. It's to slow down. And in one sense, I think that's smart. First off, you're spending way too much on content for your streaming service that lost you $1.7 billion last year. It's not going to lose them that much this year because they've stopped spending as much, which is good. It is good. And they can space out some of the stuff they've already shot, and it'll help them get to profitability in the next year or two. The problem comes when you ultimately get down to it. You're going to have to start producing content again.
Yeah,
people are not going to stay subscribed if you have a small amount of content coming out every year,
especially for the price.
So these studios, they're just going to have to figure out the right balance for this. And right now, I mean, the real elephant in the room is if you sell ads and you sell ads at high prices like you did for television,
right,
you can make a lot of money. That's how TV was making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think advertising will become a norm on streaming and not
Well,
just
and gosh, I mean, to that point, what they're really trying to do is make it so expensive for ad free that
yeah.
that people
And
kind of are forced to
well,
switch to the ads.
and because selling ads makes you a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
from a business perspective, I would have never abandoned ads on streaming personally.
Right. Well,
Right.
I wonder if there's something that they can do to where it's some sort of hybrid where you have to sit through like 3 minutes of ads before you can watch a 45-minute episode.
Yeah.
Like that is tolerable. Part of the draw for streaming is that it's ad free and that you
Right.
get to watch
Or it
this,
used to be, yeah.
what's supposed to be prestigious television show without ads.
Yeah, but then Hulu never broke from that model. I mean, they have the ad-free tier, but they were always the service that had ads.
Yeah, yeah. And you could get it for free though. Like back in the day, you could just watch it for free like it was a fast service.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't even a subscription fee to watch it with ads back in the day. Now that's obviously had to change a little bit since Fox is under Disney's label. I mean, so
I think we're gonna have a real revolution in past. That's what I'm coining. Paid ad-supported television.
Yeah, and like if we are moving that direction, I hope they can find the technology and to where it's not cutting things off and you're not getting an ad while somebody's giving this big monologue.
Right, and because that's definitely the problem on some of them.
I think for original content they'll have points where it will definitely break, but yeah, for older stuff, some of the ones that do ads right now frustrate me because they don't break when the old shows literally broke. Right. So sometimes they'll cut in the middle of episodes and it's like, whoa.
You would think that there's and certainly
you should have like you could have like a detector find those black frames and then then just have someone look through and go, yes, that's correct. Yes, that's correct.
I mean, they have enough people like foreign people working for them that like are so good at that type of stuff. Like the
right.
Not like the technology side of that it shouldn't be that hard to have somebody go through 10 seasons of Lost and figure out where to put the ads.
Totally. It should be easy. Before we dive into the two really big things that the Lucasfilm TV and film panel showed, I did want to mention that there was an animation panel that was separate from this presentation that happened.
Correct.
The animation panel did not announce anything new. So for the first time in a really long time, we don't know what's next for Lucasfilm Animation. So we have no idea if there's going to be a show next year because they have not mentioned it. I mean, obviously we had the end of Rebels and we figured there'd be something, but there's no or Bad Batch. Did I say Rebels? I'm sorry. I meant Bad Batch.
I mean, we did have the end of Rebels. That happened.
We did.
Under Disney.
But Bad Batch, yeah. So anyways, I thought that was interesting to even have a Lucasfilm animation panel and not announce anything.
They talk about?
It was Vanessa Marshall and Athena Portillo just talking about their favorite moments from different Disney or Star Wars animation.
Those animation panel. I mean, I've been to one at like Celebration. They would go through and like talk about the art and stuff like. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And then yes, they did announce some newer stuff for like Rebels when I was there, or Clone Wars, whatever it was at the time. But yeah.
Now I don't want to misspeak because we do have a new Disney animated thing coming, or a Star Wars animated thing coming in the Lego thing that's coming.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like Star Wars What If, where you've got Darth Jar Jar. So
we already kind of have with Visions, but
silliness.
But it's more like Marvel's What If than Visions.
Yeah, well, or it's more like Lego in the sense that it's comedic. So it's more like never comes from like a too serious side.
I just mean Marvel's What If is generally based on characters and events that we know of, whereas Visions was original stories that were sort of Star Wars inspired.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, what we did get to see, and I don't know with you being in the woods, Jacob, if you got to see any of this Skeleton Crew stuff.
I did watch the trailer right before we started here.
Oh, good. So the trailer looks great to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really does. I'm actually like hesitantly excited for the show. It has a certain feeling about it that made me feel like it could be kind of good. What did you think of it, Jacob, when you saw it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like pay full attention because I was kind of also talking to you guys during it.
Right.
But like, I like the vibe and the aesthetic of it. Like, seemed more spot on than something say Acolyte did. I like Jude Law as a lead. I feel like leads are very important, and kind of as the better lead you have, the better show you have, at least for the Disney stuff. Whereas like the Acolyte, who was really our lead, like semi-known actor in that? Nobody.
Yeah, well, the crazy thing is, and just to interject real quick, when I was at work, I remember there was a guy I was telling you about. He was like, "Oh, it's this new Star Wars show. I'm going to check that out tonight." But he was like, he came back. He was like, "They killed off Carrie-Anne Moss. That's why I was watching the show."
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. That's
Right.
interesting.
So.
That's interesting.
And like they had Tommen from Game of Thrones. Like that's not a big enough draw.
Yeah,
but like with a Jude Law, and like as we've seen with like a Pedro Pascal or an Rosario Dawson, like those are names. They're not A-list necessarily. Pedro's definitely more on that A-list tier than
he's getting there.
Maybe the other guys are. But
that's true. Yeah,
I think it's a big help because it's not just because it's a name and people will watch because of a name, but they also are a name for a reason because they're good at what they do. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I like that it's John Watts, right? I like him.
Yes.
Yep.
I like this Hampton type people that they're talking about.
He got the Daniels involved in this. He got some like prestigious people.
The directors of the episodes. Yeah. I'm excited about it.
Right. It's taking place somewhere around the Mandalorian.
Right. Yeah. So it's New Republic era. So that's pretty cool. What's up, Andrew? How's it going, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I mean, it had cool stuff in it. The funniest thing for me, and I think that a lot of people pointed this out, is the little creature from Captain EO was in it.
Yes.
And I thought that
at least something that looked exactly like it. Yeah.
Well, same species. It's not necessarily the same character, but same species as the little flying furry animal or whatever. So I thought that was pretty funny because Oh, Andrew.
Well,
I'll let him know.
Captain EO, right?
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was very much on the production side. In fact, for a while there, in the queue before you would go in to see Captain EO, there was a behind the scenes making of thing that they played that you could watch, and Lucas was on set with Michael Jackson, very much involved in the whole creation of Captain EO.
I kind of like that.
I agree, Andrew. That's kind of what we're talking about. Is it looked, and that's the other thing. It looked good, like the visual. It looked good, and I think John Watts will pull that off. I mean, he knows. He obviously had a plan going in, and he knows what he wants to deliver going in. He has his scripts written before he's going in to create something. I think if you look on the internet lately, Mr. James Gunn has said, "No, I won't have to do many reshoots because I plan before I shoot my films." So, I mean, it's not kind of that type of mindset.
And he and Favreau bounced off each other while on the set of No Way Home. I mean, that's been kind of publicized where they had those conversations. So I'm sure they formulated a decent plan during that time, and then expanded on it since then.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue to mention Favreau, because the other thing that they obviously did was they had Favreau and Filoni come out together. Those guys have been, two peas in a pod as of lately, and they're talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu. I believe they showed some footage to the crowd that I don't think we got to see. It's not. It didn't leak because it was a very quick amount of footage. The only thing that
they did.
The only thing that I read about it worried me a little bit, but this was also, I'm not in the room, so I couldn't see it from my own eyes, but that it felt very much like a Disney Plus type thing.
So here's
Zeb. Zeb was in it. I saw the photo of Zeb and him. Yeah.
It's the last D23 before the movie comes out, so we had to put something together for you, Favreau said. All new footage, including Grogu and Den facing off with snowtroopers, massive Imperial AT-AT walkers, in the snow, Zeb in action, and capping off with Grogu traveling with 2 tiny Anzellans.
Oh, Anzellans, how cute. So yeah, look, I'm ready for Star Wars to be back on the big screen. I don't know if this is what is going to bring people out to the theaters, but hopefully it will.
I think people will go see this. I mean, I'm not saying it's a $1 billion grosser, but Rhett,
right.
I think Rhett's wrong about this not being a hit.
Yep.
No, yeah, I think any Star Wars film in the theater is gonna do well. I don't think that I agree. I'm hesitant to say it's going to be $1 billion thing. It has to be good. Now, if it's going to be $1 billion thing, it has to be good, and people are going to want to rewatch it over and over again. That's how Deadpool and Wolverine has made that much money. It's just kind of what it has to be good. It can't be bad.
Yeah, I do think the massive gap in a Star Wars movie release is going to help it as well at the box office.
Yeah, it will.
A lot of the normies, to call them, will be like, oh, a Star Wars movie. I haven't seen a Star Wars movie in the theater in a very long time, and kind of forget the bad will that has been left in a lot of people's mouths.
Yeah.
Normies don't really know or care that much about most of the Disney Plus shows. Now, Mando is an exception.
Right.
That broke through into like real mainstream, and that may help it too. They're like, oh, it's a movie about the thing I like.
This is a good question. I mean, I think the title's fine. I think that they need to spell it out for those people that maybe didn't see the show. I don't know anybody.
I think they should have called it Mando and Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Right.
Mando and Baby Yo.
Yeah. It's interesting. Nice. Andrew, thank you for making me feel extremely old right now. Appreciate that, buddy.
You made me feel old.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. I love that.
And that's the Rise of Skywalker, right? That's not Revenge of the Sith. That's
right.
That's crazy. That's unfortunate.
I love that so much.
Starting high school at that age. That's
that's big. That's big time, man.
What year did that come out?
2019.
19, yeah.
It was December 2019.
December 2019.
Right before COVID.
So but to Garrison's point earlier, the mandate is slow it all down. So really they didn't want to announce anything else. I think they wanted to come out. Here's what we know we have coming. We know we have Skeleton's crew. We know we have Mando and Grogu. We don't know the Rey thing. We don't want to talk anymore about that. And maybe that's why they didn't bring Kathleen Kennedy out, because traditionally when she's come out, it's to announce a new project that nobody knows about. And so maybe that's
not going to happen.
Not under her watch, maybe. Maybe this is like, maybe she's finally going to retire and somebody new is going to come in. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's got to be difficult to come out of Acolyte, which was a bit divisive, I think. What's up, Ted?
The ratings weren't that great either.
And the ratings weren't that great. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say I feel sorry for her because she's a multimillionaire. And, you know, multimillionaires should be able to take some heat every once in a while. But it might just be time for her to, like, retire and you know, let the next movie take an executive producer credit on Mando and Grogu, but not be the studio head anymore. And see who comes out as the studio head. Hopefully it's a no name that just knows how to run a studio. Like, it doesn't have to be somebody we know. So I don't know. She'll still have an executive producer credit on Mando and Grogu, because that is being started production wise under her watch. So she'll still have a executive producer credit on that one. So Garrison, I'm hoping you take the lead on this one, because we're going to dive into the Marvel stuff.
Sure.
There was mostly stuff that we already knew about, but maybe I could be missing something. So you go ahead.
So at the panel, they talked about 3 shows. They talked about 3 movies. I think that's it.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
first off, they talked a little bit about Deadpool and Wolverine. That's fine. They
Yeah,
talk
because
about the
Ryan
movie
Reynolds
that's
did a
currently
thank
out.
you. Yeah, a thank you
Yeah,
thing on the
and
screen or
it
whatever. Yeah,
and it's currently out right now. It's just advertising for the movie, basically. That's fine. They
billion
talked about
dollar movie.
yes, $1 billion grosser. Um, they talked about Captain America. They showed a little bit of footage. Anthony Mackie came out and talked about it. Not really much new there. We did get photos leaked of the Red Hulk from
Yeah.
D23's stuff. By the way, massive leaks from this specific panel. There
Yes.
may have
Yes.
even been like actual that whole clip from Captain America may be out there. I have not sought it out really.
It's probably out there.
Captain America is the one project of the 3 movies that I've seen clips of now. Or well, I've seen the clips of the other 2 movies, and I'm way more excited about Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts at this point than I really am
Same.
about Captain America, which I'm gonna see it, and I hope it's great. But it's the one I'm least excited about at this point. Great cast. Love Ford.
Yeah. Oh
Love
yeah.
Ford as
Harrison Ford.
Thunderbolt
I mean,
Ross.
yeah.
They talked about Agatha. Agatha came out with a trailer, an official trailer. It's premiering in September. She's going on the Witch's Road.
Right.
My care for the show is very little as well.
Hey, you know what though? I thought that musical number that they did that they showed, I thought that was pretty catchy. It was way better than the thing in the Acolyte. The song in the
Yeah.
Acolyte,
No, and
way better than that.
they got the songwriters from WandaVision to come back, the ones who did
Yeah,
Frozen or whatever. So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
those guys
So
make catchy, good music.
right.
The, the, my issue with the show is not the music. I just don't
Sure.
care about Agatha.
Yeah.
And yes, the show that's up to the show to make me care.
Right. Exactly.
I'll give it that opportunity.
Mhm.
I just am not optimistic currently. This feels like a show that under the current mandate would never happen.
Right.
And for probably good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody needs a show. Agatha can be a great supporting character that you can have pop up, but I don't. I just I just don't care.
I'm with you.
She's great in WandaVision. Catherine
She is
Hahn is
great. Fun
fantastic in
character.
WandaVision.
Fun character. Yeah.
Yes. Next
And
they
like
talked about
I love Catherine Hahn. I think she's a great actress. Like
yeah.
But like you said, the show needs to make me care. So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
They showed the same footage from Fantastic Four over again. The clips are out there. It's the exact same thing that leaked from SDCC. It leaked
There
from
was a new set photo, I
D23.
guess, with
There was a new
Quinn
video
and
of the cast. Yeah.
yeah,
It was a video of the cast together
Joseph Quinn
talking from the set.
in what it looks like could be one of the. I think there's going to be multiple costumes.
Yeah,
So
I don't
this is
think
just
that's the only one. I
no.
I really like that suit except for the white arms. I wish it was kind of blue, but
Mhm.
anyway, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They also played 3 minutes of the score for
Oh man, Michael
Giacchino's.
Giacchino. Yeah,
Yeah,
sounded great.
it
I
sounds
listened to
so
that. It was
good.
good. Yeah.
I really I love Michael Giacchino. The Incredibles, obviously a long time ago, which a lot of people consider a very Fantastic Four movie.
Mhm.
All the way up to today, you got Mission Impossible and Rogue One, and he's done some real fantastic things. He did the recent Spider-Man trilogy, which I think he does
Yeah.
a really good job,
That's
underrated job on
fantastic
those.
things.
Yeah. He
You know that's
directed.
I mean,
He directed Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
It
did the
was
score for
good
that.
too.
And now he's getting to do the Fantastic Four, which clearly is a passion for him. Just the fact that he's already produced 3 minutes of music is kind of crazy.
That's right, Ted. I'm such a Fairweather fan. I didn't go see the re-release, and I really should have. I should have put my money where my mouth is and gone to see that re-release.
I bought a ticket for the re-release, and then I couldn't make it.
Couldn't bring yourself to go see it.
I let them have my $8. I was like, you know what, you can.
That's good.
I'm not
That's
joking.
good.
This actually happened to me.
Help the machine. That's good. That's good.
I hadn't seen it, so I was gonna see it on the re-release.
Oh, you hadn't seen it the first time around.
Yeah.
That is funny. That is
I was
funny.
like, whatever.
Such a great movie.
Anyway, I wound up watching it at home for free, so
Right.
they got my $8. But the next show was Ironheart on this list.
Riri Williams.
Ironheart has been done for a while. Riri Williams was introduced
Yeah.
in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Kind
I
of not
had
a
no
great sign to me
idea.
that they have filmed shows and put it out before they put this one out. In the
Right.
time that the show
Yeah.
is finished filming. This has got Anthony Ramos in it.
Yeah. I did not know he was in it.
I have some issues with the story that so the trailer leaked and I saw it and I
didn't get to see the
I
trailer.
don't really want to divulge everything because they didn't officially release the trailer, and so I
Right.
don't want to talk about things that people don't necessarily want to hear.
Okay. That's fair.
But Anthony Ramos is playing the Hood. It was like a magical character. It's supposed to be like magic meets tech. That's fine. I don't mind
I
that
didn't know that
aspect
there
of
was
it.
a Hood on the Marvel side also.
Yeah.
That's funny. Because there's one on the
I
DC
think that's
side
his
also.
name.
Well, there's the Red Hood, I guess, on the DC side.
Yes, yeah. I like Anthony Ramos. He was kind of weaker part of Twisters, but I like Anthony Ramos.
Who was the other big person that's in the cast that I didn't realize? Somebody else big on stage?
I don't know, but it's been rumored. Well, I don't want to get
on the very end. I'm trying to picture the stage because Ramos was sort of in the middle. There was a guy on the very
Eckhart. No.
Yeah. Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden
Ehrenreich. Yeah. I totally forgot he was in the show. I was like, there's Alden Ehrenreich.
I had no idea until right now.
Han Solo is in the show.
Wow.
Both Han Solos are in the Marvel universe.
Both Han Solos in the Marvel universe now.
Yeah, Ironheart's another one that I'm like,
it wouldn't happen under today's regime. It just wouldn't happen. I mean, like,
but I did notice in the trailer and stuff like that, they were talking about like getting an AI for her suit. In the comics, her AI for her suit is a Tony Stark AI. Like it is Tony Stark that speaks to her as an AI projection. Okay. So I wonder if they are able to get Downey to say yes to something like that. But I doubt it. But who knows? He's back for Doom, so
yeah.
I mean, I wonder if that's a character that they're wanting to have in the Young Avengers, like this Ironheart character. I mean,
I don't know.
To round out,
Young Avengers seems like a mess to me.
It does seem like a mess now, but they've certainly keep trying to set it up.
Well, yeah. Well, your biggest run on Young Avengers was that one in the mid 2000s, which also had a Iron Lad in it that was secretly a Kang variant. That's a great setup if you're doing Kang.
Right.
And look, no, they don't adapt these things one to one. Don't get me wrong, but this is supposed to be like a secret Kang variant that nobody knew about, and then it got revealed anyway. If you're doing Young Avengers now, you can pivot away from that. I just kind of think it would have tied in better if you were doing something like that. At the time. The next thing they talked about was Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts. The trailer leaked. I was not hyped for this film in the least.
Yeah, pretty much, Ted. I mean, they are kind of like pretty much done with it for now. I mean, not to say they can't bring the character back, but
yeah,
they could be pretty much done with him for now. Yeah,
I don't know what they're doing with him, but I really nothing, no idea. Thunderbolts. I was not hyped for this film at all. I don't love the writers involved with it. The director's fine. He worked on Beef for Netflix. So he's got some like pedigree there of doing some kind of, higher artsy kind of stuff in some people's eyes. The trailer looks pretty good, actually. I don't love some of the costumes that have leaked for people like Ghost and Taskmaster, but I thought the story seemed interesting. It seems very personal and smaller scale. It's a team, but it's not, saving world-ending events or anything like that right now, based on just what they released in the 3 minutes at D23. if you can find the trailer, it's online currently, but I would not be surprised if Disney pulls that stuff down. In fact, I'm really surprised they haven't been more proactive in pulling the stuff down. I wonder if they're kind of gauging reaction to some of this stuff. But
yeah,
the Thunderbolts
like the thing
trailer,
with Thunderbolts, the thing with
and
Thunderbolts
look,
is like on paper, I'm not interested in it at all, but I love the
yeah.
cast. That's
But that's the
that's
thing.
my
And
whole
when
thing.
you're watching them in action, and Florence Pugh is absolutely the lead in what you're watching.
Yeah, yeah,
I
as
gotta
she
see
should
it.
be.
I mean, it's just
Yeah, no, I mean that's
you
what I'm
know,
saying. I mean, on paper, like Thunderbolts could care less, but that cast is good. I mean,
yeah.
right,
So
Jacob? I mean,
yes, for sure. Here's kind of a dumb question: is Harrison Ford going to be in this?
Probably
And if not,
not.
why is it called the Thunderbolts?
Feige
well, that's a good point.
said that in the comics, some people, he said, and I quote, in the comics, some people have the same last name, but it doesn't. They're not related. That is real.
Yeah,
Now, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross did help form, I think, the first Thunderbolts
the
team in the
first
comics.
Thunderbolts. Yeah,
Since then, there have been other iterations that don't involve him, I believe. But
well, for this one, they're just
uh,
using Contessa in his
but I
place,
think that they're
basically.
just, yeah, I think that they're just using it in name only, and
Yeah,
just as like a team name that they're pulling
yeah.
from the comics.
But there is
And
that weird
now
asterisk. There's
yes,
that
but
weird
there is an
asterisk by the
asterisk.
title.
Yes,
So
and there have been a
strange.
lot of people. There have been a lot of people going, well, is this something else? Are they going to change the title? Is it going to be like
Hmm.
Dark Avengers, or what are they going with? Because that's another team that has existed before. I think it'd be stupid, personally, to call your movie Thunderbolts when you're really going to call it Dark Avengers, because I think you get a
Yeah,
lot more press just putting Avengers in your name if you were really doing that. But
for
anyway,
real. Yeah.
uh, I also
No,
don't
you're
really
right.
think they're dark. I don't really think they're Dark Avengers anyway. But that doesn't really matter to me. If that's what the story winds up being, I'm gonna let it play out and I'll judge it there. But
What's up,
uh,
Melissa? Welcome to my town.
yeah.
Nice.
Finally, the last part of the live action panel, Daredevil Born Again cast comes out on stage. You
Yes.
got the OG Netflix cast joined by John Barenthal,
Awesome.
and they premiered a 3-minute trailer. Now, of all the leaked trailers, and I love the Fantastic Four trailer, the
Yeah.
Daredevil trailer is really,
So
really
you
good.
saw the leaked trailer for that?
Yeah, you haven't seen that?
No, I haven't. But I haven't gone out
Oh,
and like looked for it either, though. But
so
I heard somebody
I'll try
describe it
to
that it was awesome.
I'll try to send it your way. It looks really good.
Yeah, it
It
basically looks
looks
like the
like,
Netflix series.
yeah, it does. It looks like a continuation of the Netflix, but in a different way. I mean, you could tell they're doing something different with it too. It's not
Hmm.
one to one. But yeah, a lot of the cast is there. Karen Page is back, and so is Foggy.
Foggy,
Um,
yeah,
they were on
same guy,
stage.
same cast. Yeah, they even same cast so far down the cast line as this. The same guy that played Bullseye is going to be in it.
Hmm. Okay.
Same person that played Vanessa is
Yep.
back.
And she was initially not. They had
She was
recast her.
initially not. Yeah.
And then the strikes shut down the show, and she was
Hmm.
able to come and film. And then they did the overhaul and rehaul of the show too, and she was able to come and film. So
Yeah, that's like what I guess like Feige had this epiphany of like, what are we doing? Why don't we just bring everyone back? I mean,
well,
it seems like that's kind of what like happened.
I think during the strike especially, they were just filming the scripts that they had because they
Right.
couldn't do the writer strike, and then the actor strike
Mhm.
happened, and then I think they
Hmm.
were going through the show what they had shot and went, "This is really not working.
Yeah.
Uh, let's move on to a different team. Let's continue the Netflix show." Because it seemed like they were going to continue the Netflix shows. It was just going to be a loose continuation. Like
Hmm.
those, my understanding is it was like those things that happened in the Netflix show would sort of be canon, but maybe, if we want to change something, we can. You know what I'm saying? But now
Yeah.
they're like, okay, no, we're just going to stick to the canon of the shows that came before. So I think that's a
Now,
smart decision.
Roth, I remember. I mean, I hate to bring this up.
Yeah, I have not started any of it yet.
You
I need
haven't started.
I,
Okay. Well, you still have plenty of time, technically.
yes,
I
yeah.
mean, and Ted, you still have plenty of time. Ted also hasn't watched season 3. You've got plenty of time. I mean, you don't have to watch all the other ones. Just focus on Daredevil. I mean, you've got time. It's well worth the watch. It's a great show.
for sure.
I mean, it's really
We
really
have
good show.
The animation panel happened. Unlike Lucasfilm, we actually have shows.
We actually have shows coming. Lots of shows coming.
What if season 3, the final season, is going to be coming? I think in 25.
25. Yeah. I don't think we're getting anything this
25.
year, right?
Not the rest of this year. We already had X-Men 97.
Yeah. So I think we're done with Marvel animation this year.
Maybe we might get something, but yeah, I think so.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad Dave made it.
X-Men 97 season 2 is coming. We've got 2 shows that are going to be 4-episode series, I believe.
Yeah. That was with zombies.
Eyes of Wakanda, which is going to be a tie-in to the MCU. It's going to be actually MCU canon, main timeline canon, 4 episodes. And Marvel Zombies, which is not MCU canon, but takes place in that zombie universe.
And it's a hard R, apparently.
And it's a TVMA, 4 episodes. Yeah. Shang-Chi is a big part of it. Kamala Khan is apparently a decent part of it at some point.
Interesting.
I think Blade's a decent part of it too, maybe. But,
ooh.
I don't remember.
Voiced by Wesley Snipes?
No.
What if they did that though?
No.
What if they did that?
I think Mahershala has already recorded stuff. If
no,
got him.
I think Mahershala's done. I think we're done with him. I think they're bringing OG Blade back.
And then your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man finally.
Yeah, that looked fun.
There are things about that show I really like, and there are things about that show I really don't like.
It looks like it's going to be like a smorgasbord of characters.
Yeah, and that's part of what I don't necessarily like. I love the Ditko-esque design of the Peter Parker. The Steve Ditko Peter Parker design. Really feels like and some of the animation they showed off at the Marvel Legends or the Disney Legends thing showed some really neat animation. Or was it Disney Legends? Or I think that's what it was. Anyway,
what are you talking about?
There was some clip that came out of there that they showed some of the animation from
at the Disney Legends panel.
At one of the panels. Anyway.
Oh yeah, because Steve Ditko was inducted.
Yes.
That's why.
Okay.
That's duh. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, his nephew came out and did the acceptance speech because obviously Steve Ditko's been dead forever. But
yeah, they showed like a 2-3 animation and it looks really cool. It's CGI, but it looks kind of comic booky, and I really like what they're doing with it. But
no, I'm totally.
I don't know about the story, but I like the look.
Right. I think the thing that I appreciate about the Marvel animation is they're not afraid to incorporate different styles of animation in their shows, and that's like, do it. I mean, why not? I mean, let's go. I think that's a good idea. The real
reason for that is they're hiring out different companies to do some of these different shows, so they can have different people working on it at the same time. Well, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think that's smart business. They're not set in the same continuity. You can do whatever animation style you want. Let's mess around with some things, and let's create some original animated shows. I'm totally okay with that. And then one continuation series in X-Men 97. That has excellent animation.
There's Bo is not happy about not being called by Disney.
Bo's certainly got an ego about him, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yes, and we still don't know what he did to get fired. We still don't know what he did. So I thought that was interesting. Roth, does any of that stuff excite you as far as what's coming?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about the Spider-Man stuff. The Marvel Zombies, very little excitement there.
Because we did see that one episode in the first season.
And I'm just kind of zombied out, more or less.
I feel you.
New X-Men 97 stuff, very excited for.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch all of it. I think it'll be good enough. I feel like the animation is usually a little bit better than a lot of the TV stuff that we've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe on par. So yeah, I'm excited.
Depends.
Dave, what about you? What Marvel stuff excites you most? Uh-oh.
Are we talking parks? Are we talking? Have we talked parks already? Or are we just talking?
No. We're not gonna do parks, but we are gonna have. We haven't talked any of the Disney stuff yet. We're saving that for you. Actually, you're gonna run point on that.
Well,
but
honestly,
Marvel stuff. Yeah.
Captain America: New World, Brave New World. I am very cautiously optimistic for this.
Okay.
I think it could be a disaster, but I also think it has potential to be pretty good. It's not going to be like phase 1, 2, 3 level good or great. So my expectations are tempered. I'm also excited for Daredevil Born Again, a great superhero. I'm just excited at him being brought into the MCU fully, with John Bernthal returning, Vincent D'Onofrio returning, of course, Fantastic Four, First Steps. That's going to be fantastic. No pun intended or pun intended. Again, I'm very cautiously optimistic about what they're going to do with it. It's the whole multiverse thing. I'm hoping they're starting to grab a hold of this multiverse and starting to trim it down to. I guess it'll all come to a head in Doomsday and Secret Wars.
I think that's the case. Yeah.
But I'm hoping so, because it's kind of a big mess right now.
Yeah,
Agatha will be good. Thunderbolts, again, cautiously optimistic. I haven't seen much on it, but
that the trailer leaked for that from D23, and I was just telling the other guys, it actually looked good. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, trailers looking good doesn't mean the movie's good, but I was like,
sure,
yeah.
Again, expectations, Civil War comes out, and I'm just like, expectations for all the Marvel movies are up here. And then after Endgame, and then we get No Way Home, Doctor Strange, whatever, after Ant-Man and Quantumania, expectations are, I just need to be this good, and I'll be okay. So I'm not expecting this anymore. I'm expecting this.
Yeah. You just want a good movie.
Yes.
It just has to be good. That's all I want is a good movie.
Yep.
So, Dave, we're glad that you showed up, because we wanted you to kind of run point on the Disney animation and Pixar stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if you have it in front of you,
all the
announcements
that I wrote on my agency webpage. I'll just run through this real quick.
Yeah. Like run through them.
What I'll do is,
what little we might know about them. Also,
let's go. Well, we'll start with Disney Animation Studios. We'll start there, and then we can kind of talk about it for a second.
Okay,
of course,
cool,
Moana 2 opens up this fall.
Yes.
And it's the trailer showed her little sister, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, her little sisters!" Whatever.
Oh, that's right.
We get the story of Mufasa and Scar in Mufasa coming out in December. With that, it looks as if Scar is actually the rightful king, and Mufasa. Mufasa is the adopted child who becomes the king. So now you're like, a cliff too. 2026, Zootopia 2. Ke Kwan's coming in as Gary the Snake, which we know very little about that. And of course, in 2027, Frozen 3 is coming out, and they've said it's going to be a 2-part story. So that means Frozen 4 will be out around 28 or 29. Yeah, it's going to be a 2-part story. So I'm guessing there'll be a Frozen cliffhanger of some sort. Because Frozen 3 was coming out, I want to say, in 2026. And maybe back a year. So
maybe Stallone will be in it as cliffhanger.
That would be awesome.
Maybe Elsa will get frozen in carbonite, and they'll have to
yes.
Or maybe Kristoff is going across the ropes there, and he accidentally drops Anna to her death. And he's very bitter and everything. So
Ted makes a really good point here that there's no way that.
Oh, Ted, hey, come on now.
Hey.
I have still never seen Frozen 2.
It's okay. It's pretty good.
It's okay.
I mean,
I'm
much more into part 1, but
I
it's
don't
okay.
care for part 1, in all honesty.
I will say the Woods song, and I forget the name of the one that Kristoff sings when he's in the woods. It's like
a rock ballad.
Yeah, it's so good. It is pretty. You would enjoy that, Roth, as a music guy. Pixar stuff. Pixar's first series, Win or Lose, it comes out on Disney Plus in December. It looks like there's a baseball team they're having to win during the season. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but it's the first series they're doing. Elio, which has been pushed back over and over, I think at least a year, is coming out next June,
and a new director.
Yes, a new director. And there's a full description of it out there now, but I know it's like a space adventures of a guy with a little imagination. So we'll see what happens with Elio. Sometime in 2025, Dream Productions. It's a Pixar series about Riley's dreams, and it's set between the events of Inside Out and Inside Out 2. Probably going to see that unicorn, that rainbow unicorn going on. And this will be a fun series because it kind of gives them the license to do kind of whatever they want to do because it's in dreams. So they can, whatever they want to do, they can do it. Maybe have a cameo by Joy or something. 2026, Toy Story 5. The toys are up against the tech that the kids are obsessed with.
Oh, that's right.
Every parent is all about this. I'm hoping this undoes will undo the damage of Toy Story 4. But also, if you see the renderings, Woody is with Buzz and Rex and Ham and the gang.
Yeah.
Noticeably absent is Mr. Potato Head. Which of course we know Don Rickles passed away several years ago, and if you know the story behind that with Toy Story 4, they got permission to use his voice from audio clips from the previous 3 movies that were not used. I don't know if they'll get permission to do that again and he didn't have a lot of lines anyway, so I don't know how much the audio they had. I don't know if they'll be, because the Rickles estate did not want him recast, and they honored that. They were not going to recast him without the blessing of the Rickles family. So who knows? And Estelle Getty, I believe, not Estelle Getty. What's her name? Is it Stiller?
Estelle Harris?
Is it Estelle Harris? I think
maybe.
Mrs. Potato Head. Anyway, she's. I think
yeah, Teddy. I mean, you're right. Look, it's IP heavy, which is the mandate from Iger. I mean, go IP. So.
Yep.
I
Brian
think
saying F2 is the best. I maybe F5 I think is better. Fast 5 is much better than F2, but whatever.
Look,
I prefer
the
to F2.
The highest grossing movie of this year is Inside Out 2. So
it's
far.
the highest grossing animated movie of all time. It's ridiculous.
Highest grossing animated movie of all time.
Behind Lion King. Lion King.
I think it's
I think it
might
be just behind. It's very close to beating it.
And I'm talking about the live action Lion King, not the actual animated Lion King.
Yeah, well, the animated only made 900 worldwide, Mikey. So we breezed past that.
Right. Yeah. Also coming is Incredibles 3, which they didn't give any date on that, but they just went back to the well with Incredibles 3 and released it to be determined an original film called Hoppers. It's an original Pixar film about a girl who trades minds with a robot beaver in order to see apparently what's going on in the forest. I would say this is insane, but it's Pixar. I trust it. So who knows?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I saw people comparing it to Avatar on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You guys talked about Star Wars and Marvel, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah, we did all that already. I'm just doing the animation stuff with you.
We'll run through we can run through the live action if you want.
Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, that's right.
Stitch actually looks pretty good.
It did look good. It kind of looked good
too.
Yeah. I was impressed with that. So that's Lilo and Stitch coming out sometime in 2025.
No, 2025.
Summer 2025.
Do you think they'll reopen Stitch Encounter with the live action Stitch?
No.
I love that ride so much, or attraction, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that was.
Do you guys know why that building is empty? Why they can't fix it?
No.
Story time, real quick, and I'll make it quick because I know we're running out of time here.
But
that and Cosmic Ray are attached to the same building, built a long, long time ago. Cosmic Rays is one of the busiest restaurants in the entire world. In order to fix, or basically to gut, the alien encounter or where Stitch was, they would have to shut that building down because they have to bring it up to code. They can't just go in and remodel that building. That building is so old and so behind code. They'd have to shut Cosmic Rays down basically, and they can't afford to do that because Cosmic Rays is so freaking busy and such
it's busy all the time.
So that building is going to stand empty probably for the near future because they don't have anything, because whatever they do is going to have to be that harness circular thing, and they don't. I mean, nobody wants that anymore. So, so yeah, that's why.
That's crazy.
I really miss Alien Encounter. I miss Alien Encounter.
Yeah, that was fun too.
So
yeah,
Tron Ares. Next October, 2025. Jared Leto, Jeff Bridges, all right. 9 Inch Nails doing the music. I'm in. I mean, it's cool.
Wait, Jeff Bridges is actually back for this? I didn't
he's
realize
back for it. Yeah,
he was on stage at
he came out. Yeah, he and Leto came out. Yeah,
he and Leto. So,
and who's the female in that one? Was it somebody big?
Remember?
I can't remember either.
The plot line is the characters are leaving the grid and going into the real world.
Yeah, it's like Matrix.
So Matrix-y kind of thing. Next December, we'll also get Fire and Ice, Avatar Fire and Ice, with the Na'vi facing up against more hostile Na'vi around the world of Pandora.
And that's 26, by the way, not next year.
Oh, it's 26? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to change my blog. You're right.
Go.
What now?
Greta Lee from Past Lives.
That's right, Greta Lee. That's who it was. Yes, Greta Lee.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Next May, we're going to get Freakier Friday, which is Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis returning as their as I guess an older version.
And the guy's back too. The guy that was in that movie's back too.
I don't remember the guy. I really don't.
Wasn't it Chad Michael Murray?
Was it? That sounds right, because that sounds like a popular dude at the time.
I think it. Yeah, it's Chad Michael.
He was the next it thing in 2020.
Look, I'm a Chad Michael Murray completist.
That's true. That is true. I forgot about that. Also in 2025, the popular series returns for a season 2, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen a single bit of it.
Deucecast Extra series.
I have avoided talking about this one because I don't want to see it, but Snow White, the much delayed adaptation of
Yeah.
Snow White, comes out with Rachel Zegler as Snow White and Gal Gadot having to pretend that she wants to look as good as Rachel Zegler. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She's
The struggle is real.
I think Rachel Zegler is an entitled punk, but that's just me.
Amen to that.
Anyway, and also live action on the slate, released undetermined. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announced the film Monster Jam, about a film about monster trucks.
So
now in
random.
production.
In
So-
all this presentation about all this IP, also, and Monster Jam is technically an IP, but he comes out and he's like, "I'm going to be in a live action Monster Jam," and I'm like, so I guess that's so. What happened recently was that his $7 Productions and Disney signed a deal together. I think this is the first movie from that deal.
That makes sense. He hasn't done a lot of like family-friendly films in a while, so I know he likes doing films for his kids and stuff. Hence, Tooth Fairy and Gridiron Gang and whatever those crappy movies were. Tooth Fairy's terrible. Tooth Fairy's so bad. It's awful.
I remember watching that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Final bits of notice here. This is Disney Broadway. The Frozen Broadway show is going to be coming to Disney Plus sometime in 2025. And in something that I feel like should have already happened a long time ago, but didn't, The Greatest Showman is coming into Broadway as a musical. And I didn't see all of it, but from what I saw, it was an incredible performance on stage D23 coming out and just doing the whole thing. So I'm like, why in the world did they not already do this? That's prime for Broadway. So
for some reason, I didn't realize it was a Disney property. So.
Well, I think it's not a Disney property, but Disney's working together to produce the musical. So yeah, they're kind of working.
Sense.
And speaking to what Ted said about sequels, you're absolutely right. Personal theory, my theory simply is they're going back to the well on several of these because they know they're good money makers because they need the money. They don't want to take a lot of risks right now, especially with all the money they're dumping into the parks over the next 5 years. Give it 3 or 4 or 5 years. I think you're going to start seeing more original content. I think Inside Out 2 was really a big thing for them because they're like, hey, we don't put a message in a movie, we make a lot of money, but also we went back to characters people love, we make a lot of money. And so, I think they're going to kind of go back and forth. Same thing with Pixar. I think they're with Elio, they got Incredibles 3, and with Hoppers, they've got, whatever else sequels are coming out. So I think they're having to go back and forth for a while. So
Here's a question for live action remakes. The Hercules movie by the Russo brothers has long been bandied about. Is that happening?
It wasn't mentioned. It wasn't mentioned. Yeah.
I want that to happen. I
do too. I think it will. Well,
I don't think Russo's will be attached.
Either.
I think 3 years ago that could have happened, but I think.
You know what? No, that's happening. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Not under the Russos though, right?
Wait until after Wicked.
Oh.
Ariana Grande.
Garrison's got the scoops.
Yes.
Ariana Grande.
Do I need to?
I'm assuming.
Let me just.
Yeah, they want her to play one of the characters. I don't remember who it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, Garrison. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm not excited for Wicked. I'm just not.
Yeah, Wicked's fine on Broadway, but I don't know if it's going to.
Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, those are not two people that just excite me. I'm just like,
it's a part two. It's a two-parter as well.
I'll
go see it because we have a podcast, to talk about. But
yeah.
When I saw Twisters for the second time, my fiance's first time, the Wicked trailer played, and she turns to me and goes, "Please don't make me go see that."
Well, you got a good one there, Ross.
Yes, I do.
Nice.
You should have turned her and said, "You thought I'd take you to go see that?"
Yeah, exactly. I would never go see that.
Let's go see Borderlands. Woo!
Borderlands.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh,
well, cool. Look, I'm excited about pretty much, and they blew it out of the park, like the Disney animation and Pixar. They kind of stole the thunder, I think, a little bit from Marvel and Lucasfilm. I'm excited about all the Marvel stuff, but Incredibles 3 I was surprised by that. I think a lot of people were surprised by that because it's been years since we had the second Incredibles. And they announced Michael Giacchino's coming back. They announced the same director's coming back to do it. So I think it's Brad Bird again. Yeah.
Is that a director's jail?
Well, he was never in director's jail when it comes to Disney, but He wanted to do
yeah,
other stuff.
he did Ghost Protocol in 11, and then he did Incredibles 2 in 18, and now he's doing Incredibles 3.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
there were 6 big announcements for the Marvel and for the MCU with Agatha,
Right.
Captain America, Daredevil,
Yeah.
Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Ironheart. So I mean,
Yes,
it wasn't
but
skimpy. I
those
mean,
were
they gave a lot.
all
That's
those were
all
all
stuff
things
we knew about. Yeah.
Right, true.
And really, and I think it's a smart thing to do. They made their big announcements or their big announcement at SDCC,
Yes.
which is more the crowd than D23.
Yeah,
So.
that's true.
I
I mean, the D23 crowd's the Disney fan. I mean,
Right.
specifically. So
I also kind of feel like they're maybe treading lightly with
Oh,
Marvel and
no.
Star Wars right now, just to kind of make sure they
Yeah.
get things out there that people love, because they don't want to pump a ton of money into things that people are hating and keep hating.
Steve Palpatine is making his triumphant return. Is Kathleen Kennedy propping this show up? Why is it still
Steve, I get you, man. Manimal was also canceled after one season. My 11-year-old heart never forgave it.
Those guys are so smart and sexy.
Look, yeah.
I love the Deucecast Extra.
My
It's
Kathleen
the best.
Kennedy check keeps cashing, so.
Yeah, exactly. My residuals. Kathleen Kennedy residuals. No, Steve, we actually talked about Kathleen earlier when you were not here. We mentioned that it was odd that she was not at the Lucasfilm panel, but she was at the Legends panel. So,
we were sure that
okay, I
Dean
can't
Cox
put
got
that
the
up.
scoop on that.
Can't put that one up, Steve. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, my friend.
That's just quoting South Park. I mean, that's not,
That's
he's
true.
not
That is just
saying.
South
He's just quoting South Park.
Well, cool. Look, I mean, I'm very excited about the Disney animation stuff, but I'm an IP guy. I don't care about all the sequels. Like, I could give me all the sequels.
Give me a good movie.
Yeah,
give me a good movie.
Give me a good, exactly. I don't care if it's Toy Story 5. Just give me a good movie. I mean, and I think that there is a potential to tell a good story if they're going to tackle the kids are obsessed with iPads thing. I mean,
I kind of think they're coming back to Toy Story 5 because 4 is kind of got a bad reputation now. Also, they want to go back to the sequels too, but I feel like because after 4 they were all talking about they were putting up videos of how they were done and last whatever. And 4 is most people don't like 4.
You mean best animated feature winner of the Deuces Toy Story 4?
Wasn't my vote.
It was mine. It was the best animated film.
It was the best animated
It's
film.
a beautifully animated movie. It's like the movie Good Dinosaurs.
Yeah,
beautifully animated.
And its competitors were Frozen 2 and that Ice Monster movie, and it was like,
yeah. Wow, Steve. Steve is getting dark in the chat.
You sound like my friend Rhett.
No, you're onto something.
You're onto something there, Dave. Garrison, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at GRyfun3, GRYFUN3. You can find me on Instagram as well. You can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfun, GRYFUN. Where I've actually I've been watching some stuff. I watched something last night, 75-minute little thriller from the 50s. It was cool. What I love about old movies, just real quick, is just when they end abruptly. It's just like a hallmark of that era. It's like you get the reveal and it's like, all right, credit time, baby. It's like, okay, whoa. Nowadays we got to sit with it for a little bit and have a resolution, but no. It's
like
done.
the old movies, you don't get like real credits at the end. It just says,
yes.
End.
The end.
Exactly. Roth, interesting episode of Good Day for a Movie podcast.
That was great. It was good opinions, although you're wrong, but still.
Good opinions, but you're wrong. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I'm very excited, and I don't want you to necessarily reveal it here because I want people to listen to the episode, but I'm very excited about the next movie you're going to do. Okay. Where can people find you?
Roth from Wyoming, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd as well. Not as active on Letterboxd as I have been in years past, but we're into the summer is ending and it's about to get cold here in Wyoming. So hopefully that means more time for
movie time.
Yeah. Our last episode of the Good Day for Movie podcast was on The Town. If you stuck around for after the outro song, you got to hear from Sage.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was texting with Sage a bit today, and he said he is very excited to be back on the podcast.
Oh, cool. Breaking news.
Very cool.
I like that.
Good.
That's I'm very excited for him to be back as well. So we'll see how long we can continue this connections thing. But I kind of enjoy it, and I think
I think it's
Nice.
a good, it's a fun thing to do. So cool.
Go on for a little bit, but yeah, the next movie I'm very excited for as well. I won't reveal it. Go listen to the episode.
You got to listen to the episode.
Yeah.
You got to listen to the episode. Dave, we had mention of something in the chat, and I think there's a podcast that this person can go to hear about
absolutely.
this type of stuff.
Matter of fact, we did a YouTube show today for our agency Upon a Star Travel, and actually a lot of that is going to be on the Main Street Electrical podcast, talking all about the park stuff, going front to back on everything, opinions, what's good, what's bad, that kind of thing. So yeah, you can find that on the Main Street Electrical podcast coming out every Thursday.
What do you? Sorry.
What is a staple remover?
I was going to ask, what did you think of Drew Taylor's bombshell report today?
On what?
Who's Drew Taylor, who is a writer for The Wrap.
I saw that. I'm holding judgment on that because he has really good Disney connections.
But
also Disney pumps a little bit of money into Muppets, and so I'm like, why would they do that? Because typically, when something's going away, they let it fall apart. That's what happened to Great Movie Ride. That's what happened to Maelstrom. That's what happened to whatever. And I'm like, why would they completely do the entire renovation of the theater, whatever? So I don't know that that's correct or not. I have no idea. Also, to address Steve in the chat, Toy Story 5 actually is going to be about rescuing Bo Peep because she's been trafficked. So it is more of an adult scene.
Jim Caviezel as like Jesus.
It's basically it's they're all playing the part of Liam Neeson. They're actually call it Toykin. So yeah. There you
go. Gosh.
Jim Caviezel's playing the baby Jesus from the nativity scene that they've got in the kids' room.
Right.
And he goes and rescues Boy.
That's awesome. Jacob, did you get to say where you're found? I might have skipped you.
Yeah, Ross, Wyoming. I think I did.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, awesome. I am at the Michael Nip on the X, but mostly I hang out in the Deucecast, which is our Discord server. We basically talk about movies, TV, all the news that came out. I mean, we were on it when it came to SDCC and D23 collectively as a Deucecast team. We were on it. We were letting everybody know what's up.
On Sunday night from Yellowstone, I was like, "Holy cow! What is happening here?"
500 messages when you got home, but we were on it. We did a good job. I'm proud of our Deucecast. But if you're interested in joining the Deucecast, you can always email me at thedeucecast@gmail.com. Speaking of the Deucecast movie show, my co-host here, David, is also on the show. But we have got a fun episode coming out tomorrow with one Steve Glosson of Geek Out Loud. It is fantastic. We talk about sci-fi and fantasy films. It was such a fun episode.
The art is good. I've already got the art done. I'm excited.
Nice. I'm excited. Appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat. Even Steve Palpatine, thank you for hanging out. Ted, appreciate you hanging out. Brian was there. Melissa was there for a second. We had young Andrew who made us feel really old. I gotta show this because good gracious, this made me feel like a grandfather, and I am not a grandfather, but this made me feel like a grandfather. Appreciate that, Andrew. We will be back next week. It's going to be a much shorter episode next week. Go ahead, Garrison. You've been wanting to say something.
I wish StreamYard saved usernames like Zoom does, so that if Dave went around, it would just save that, and he would have to explain that to somebody.
Yeah, I wish it would too. Yeah, I didn't even notice that you did that. Yeah, I did that. But we will be back next week. Like I said, super short episode next week, because really all we're gonna do, unless some breaking news happens, all we're gonna do is just our quick extras, how we extraed this week, and then. But sometimes, what now?
So I need to extra this week.
Yeah, you need to actually have something you've watched, read, listened to, whatever. And but hey, that could last an hour, a long conversation. We don't know. I'm not putting a time limit on it, but I'm just assuming that based upon the fact that there's no show that we're covering right now, that it's going to probably be a shorter episode. Really, it's just a good way for me to promote the Deucecast movie show and Roth to promote Good Day for a Movie podcast. That's really what it's for. So we're going to do that next Tuesday. Appreciate the chat. Thanks, Dave.
I'm going to try to start coming on the end of these whenever I can.
Yes.
Even if it's shows I don't watch, I'll still come on and give my 2 cents. Yeah. Embarrass Garrison on the names here.
Well, you're going to watch Agatha, right?
Yeah, I will watch Agatha. Yes.
Okay, so there you go. You can.
I guess I'll see it all along, but.
Right. Thanks again, everyone, and everybody have a great night. Go watch a movie or a TV show or something.